Alright everyone, it is Dokkan time, and today I'm going to be going through the newly EZA'd Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks and Xeno Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So both of these units are basically the exact same unit. They have like 2 or 3, maybe 4 differences between them, and they're not even that very significant. There will be no roll tips for this. If you're watching this months down the line, I apologize. Heroes units are no longer available on Dokkan Battle, as the Dragon Ball Heroes IP has ended, and this was the last celebration, so these are no longer summonable. On the off chance that they do add them to the summon pool, sweet, but as of right now, at the time of recording, they have not said that that would be the case. Their defense is about the same. Their kits are about the same. There's very small differences here, so I am going to literally just go through them both at the same exact time. I'm not going to space it out. I'm just going to... I'll show you. It's like almost copy-pasted. It's pretty funny. It reminds me of the Intelligence Kid Goten and the Tech Kid Trunks. Yeah. Those two from earlier this year are basically the exact same units as well, and these are basically the same kind of way, except they don't have the damage reduction. So anyways, let's just get into the kit. We'll start with Gotenks here, since he has actually the most significant difference of the two, and that being that he is on the Kamehameha category, where Gohanks is not. So Gotenks has the unique position where he actually... can take advantage of being on a Kamehameha leader, such as the Second Coming Broly movie Gohan. So he can be on that 200% team. And then, of course, once the 7th anniversary units actually EZA next year on 10th anniversary, you will be able to run this Gotenks on that team as well. Otherwise, I would just highly suggest be running these two on heroes. Primarily the Super Saiyan 3 Rose, as he is a Super Saiyan 3 unit, and both of these units will be benefiting from being on a Super Saiyan 3 team, or at least surrounded by Super Saiyan 3 and crossover units. So Gotenks is a Super AGL type, Key plus 3, 130 leader. Gohanks also, and once again, his leader skills is actually worse. his 200% options are worse. But his leader skill is Super Int, Key plus 3, 130%. As you can see, we're already at very similar points. Gotenks greatly raises attack and defense and lowers the attack and defense of the enemy, whereas Gohanks greatly raises attack and defense, but seals the super attack of the enemy as well. Now, let's take a look at these kits here, and you can immediately already tell by just swipping back and forth. You can see just barely the color difference and a little bit of text. They are basically the exact same. So, attack and defense, 150% for both units, plus an additional attack, 150% performing a super attack for both units, plus an additional attack and defense, plus 30% with each super attack formed, up to 150 for both units. Launches additional super attack when there is another crossover category ally attacking in the same turn for both units. And finally, the only part of their passive that is different is, or... instead of a crossover ally attacking in the same turn, when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down status for Gohanks, or for Gotenks, it's when the target enemy is stunned or when the enemy's super attack is sealed. And then they both have performs a critical hit when there is another Super Saiyan 3 category ally attacking in the same turn. So, the literal only difference between their passives is... if you don't have another crossover ally attacking in the same turn to be able to proc the 2 additional super attacks, then for Gotenks, you need to have the enemy's attack lower, or not attack lower, but sealed or stunned. Whereas with Gohanks, you just need the enemy to have lowered attack and defense. I would say the lower attack and defense is a lot more common and doable, whereas Gotenks' stun and sealed is definitely a lot more restricted. But anyways. So their links are probably also one of the major things that are not completely the same. They're pretty close, I will say that. The major difference being that Gohanks has Brainiacs and Cold Judgment, whereas Gotenks has the Innocence and Kamehameha. Otherwise, they both have Super Saiyan, Over in a Flash, Shocking Speed, Fuse Fighter, and Shattering the Limit. Their categories are also going to be, I think, the exact same. Pretty close. Pretty close. I think there's... Yeah, the biggest difference, once again, is the Kamehameha category for Gotenks. And as far as, their link partners go, it's going to be pretty similar. Gohankses are going to be more around Cold Judgment-esque units, which will kind of be better in some degrees. They both link pretty decently well with Vegex as well. Vegex is pretty good. Vegex is actually a pretty good, solid unit. Not the best, but... yeah, Cold Judgment is an interesting link that Gohanks can take advantage of. I just don't think you're ever going to be able to take advantage of it well enough for it to make a difference for him as a unit. So, let's go ahead and go take a look at the defense calculations of both of these units. Compliments of Halberd. So, this is Gotenks' right here. Max possible defense of 1.56 million defense, whereas Gohanks' is 1.5 million defense. So their defense is basically the exact same all the way up and down. You have to get the full build up of 5 super attacks to get the 150% boost from super attacks. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 150. They get 30% boost every time they perform a super. They can hit their max full build up on their second appearance. As long as they both get their triple supers off. And I think that would be the difficult part about getting fully built up, especially in my testing with them, is that a lot of the time, because they're critical attacking, and they actually do get pretty good, decent damage numbers, early stages of fights, they can wipe them out pretty quick, and then they don't build up fast enough, and they might get caught. But, 1.5 million defense isn't terrible for both the units. It's not terrible. I don't think it's fantastic, though, because neither of these units have built-in damage reduction or guard. They're pretty plain and simple, in all given honesty. My biggest gripe with them is that they feel and look like they were built, developed last year. Like, they made these EZAs for last year, and they just didn't release them. That's what it feels like right now. I will shortly go through their builds, and just give you my suggestion on how you should build them. Just before I move into that, though, these are Heroes units. So unless they're very good, typically most of the time, Dragon Ball Hero units typically got to stay on Dragon Ball Hero leaders and teams. So, Gohanks, if you are unfortunate enough to only have a 55% copy, I would suggest just chucking more dodge into him. He's an intelligence unit, so he starts out at level 5. So just give him a level 5 silver and a level 2 bronze to get up to level 12 dodge. Level 12 dodge is only a 12% chance to dodge, but he's got built-in additionals and built-in crit as long as you run him correctly. So, as far as his dupes go, once you get dupes, that is when I would suggest removing the additional in the bronze slot, giving him an HP orb. Keep the silver additional and then give him like a silver or dodge or maybe a mixture if you got it into the gold equip. I would suggest focusing heavily onto the additional just to go for that quad potential super. Maximize that defense possibility and then put the rest into dodge, because at that point, you want to just kind of give him the additional. You want to build him for what he's going to go for and take him into events he's going to be able to additional several times into, and that's how you want to use him, is take advantage of the fact that he can critical quad super, and his damage isn't that bad. Their damage isn't really, honestly, not that bad. It's like 15 mil fully built up, like 13, 15 mil. That's pretty good when you can triple guaranteed crit. That's pretty good. That's like a 45 million damage turn. Yeah, you can get some good damage out of these guys. As far as Gotenks goes, I would suggest just leaning into his typing, which is an AGL type, and just give him a more additional. At that point, with level 12 additional, he has a 24% chance to additional again. So yeah, silver, just give him more level 5 additional, and bronze, just give him another level 2 additional. And then as far as once you get dupes for him, or if you get dupes for him, I would suggest switching that to an HP orb. Once again, heroes units have lowered stats in general, so when you run a heroes team, often more than not, your HPs are going to be really bloody low. So an HP orb across the whole field of the team can really make a big difference on your HP bar. But just the same as Gohanks, I would highly suggest just leaning into that additional and putting the rest into dodge. That is the best way I personally feel to rock these units, as they are not built for the meta. You build them for what they can do, and what they can do is they can triple, quad, super, and guaranteed crit. So, you know, take them into Super Saiyan 3 content, crossover content, maybe even a couple other things, Power Beyond Super Saiyan Fusion, some of those things, a lot of those categories, you could definitely mop the floor with these two units. So, anyways, let me know which one of these guys you actually like better. Do you feel like there's a difference between them, or are they basically the same unit? And what teams are you going to run them on if you're not going to run them on a heroes team? Anyways, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day and a good night.